The reason why it showed up in my feed, because the person that posted that said, I want to feel bad, but Coleman Hawkins made $2 million in NIL this year. He's 23. He's set for life, yet fan noise made him play poorly. This is out of control. And then somebody that I follow posted, $2 million isn't set for life,
I
just
know,
so we're clear.
That's my thought immediately.
Yeah, so I was like, look, one, I like that it made it to me because the reality is people don't realize $2 million a year is a money. I'm not going to say it's not.
Yeah.
But $2 million a year after taxes and you're paying your manager and all that, what, $1 million? Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
after
now you
tax,
got $1 million
plus your agent.
Yeah.
He either paid somewhere between 5 to 20% on that.
Okay, so maybe it's even less, but let's say he's got $1 million, right?
Okay, yeah.
How are you investing it? If you're like having to be set for life, you're living off yield, right?
Yeah.
So what's the yield that you can count on knowing there's going to be corrections? 7% is generous. But let's just say 7%.
Yeah.
And you want to maybe put a couple $100,000 in cash reserves, you're making $50,000 a year. You're not living off $50,000 a year at 23 years old.
No.
And saying you're set for life.
Especially not with the spending that you've. Thank you.
Yeah, but I don't know. My heart kind of. I mean,
are we going?
I felt for him,
dude.
Because
I do
he's
too.
a kid, and there's pressure involved.
Yeah,
it's like, when you see somebody cry like that in front of the camera, it's real.
It's real. I'm really passionate about this stuff. I was having a conversation yesterday with a agent and marketing manager team who manages a lot of high profile athletes, I'll just say. And from high school now through the pros. And the high school athletes, I have talked to several who are making these big commitments, right? I'm always imploring athletes, particularly at that level, they have a couple of moments, especially when they're big recruits, to capitalize on attention, right? And so you and I know we're passionate about social and owning your own narrative, and what we're doing right now is an example of that. But they have a moment when they want to announce where they go to school, when they have all eyes on them. Everyone has been waiting for probably 3 to 5 years. And the moment where people care most is when they announce where they're going. So this young man went to Kansas State, and his commitment post or video, I guarantee you, got a ton of traction. And that is usually the highest leverage point. And then, but to get to that point, I've talked to several of these high profile recruits, and they literally want to hurry up because I've been involved in some of these announcement videos and talking to their families about how they can leverage this. And they are so ready to make their commitment because everyone around them, this one young man said to me that since the moment he turned 14, for the last 4 years, every single conversation he's ever had is involved where he's going to go to college and his commitment and all that. And so I think like the business surrounding sports, college sports in this instance, is on a professional level, but we're dealing with teenagers and, young men in their early 20s and young women. And we've also set aside the fact, I have an 8-year-old son right now, and we watch out there, like he's a deep competitor, man. This kid's just upset. He's really a competitor and wants to win. And he didn't go to Kansas State thinking that he was going to miss the tournament or that they were going to get beat. He went there because he wanted to win a championship.
Right.
And I think people who don't maybe have a competitive spirit or who don't want to do a good job at their job, no matter how much you're getting paid, if you fail at your job, you're upset.
Yeah.
But there's something that happens when we put a ball in someone's hands or we see them on a television, they become inhuman to us. And I am such an athlete advocate because I think, sure, this kid can be making $2 million, but he's also a competitor. He's also a young man who's trying to work out his maturity, his growth, his emotions in a very public eye that all the people who are tweeting, the 23 million people who have seen that, literally probably a fraction of a % of them have ever had to deal with the scrutiny and the eyeballs that he has.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know. I guess in my world, it was Ryan Sheckler. Do you know who that is? Mm-hmm. Ryan Sheckler?
Sheck, Mellon athlete.
Yeah, but he was the one that was like young,
yep,
on TV, making like real money. And it was at an age where we were all like, dude, it's just got to be a hard experience to go through. Like fame, eyeballs, money, before you've kind of matured to be able to understand it. I feel for that. I mean, speaking on
Brother,
that
yeah.
video, like that was real. How do you navigate through marketing and being like a real person
Yeah.
versus like creating an image? Do you think it's better to create an image and a character and stick to that? Like maybe, I don't know if Conor McGregor did that or if that's just his real personality.
Sure, yeah.
But how do you blend those two? Or do you not?
To be honest, brother, I'll speak for myself, but I travel around teaching personal branding. And I think a lot of the same principles apply to a company brand, but let's talk about individuals because that's where we're at. I think so many people, when they hear personal branding, they immediately go to the external. And I believe personal branding is so much more of an internal exercise. What we are trying to understand is who you are, what drives you, what are your motivating factors, what are the passions and things that you care about, who do you want to serve? I believe the best brands are built on serving others. And so what I am trying to do when I'm working with people, and myself included, I just spent a week away, and we can talk about that, but I feel for kids half my age trying to navigate all this, and I have a fraction of it. And brother, I'm flying around with like, I can't manage it all. But so to answer your question directly, I think that we try to find out internally who we are, like authentically, and that is such a buzzword, but like, who are you actually and what drives you? And then how do we make that the thing that shows up externally? And then you're not having to keep a character. You're not having to keep an image. You're just being who you are. And that is the thing that people resonate with so much. I'm reminded of that time and time again. The tagline that I have when I give these talks is that when I learned, I shared my story of overcoming heroin addiction and incarceration. The first time I did that in the public eye, what I realized is that we admire people in their strengths, but we connect with people in their struggles.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you want to know that other people are human beings.
Right.
And I literally just last night, I posted a story after being a week away and spending time with my family and even spending a couple of days by myself. And I just shared a story about how, man, it's been, me blowing in here like 45 minutes late on the phone call with one, texting another, working with my social media manager on the other, and my family back. Like it's a lot to navigate. They're all quality problems at this point, but they're still problems nonetheless.
Right.
Just like this young athlete is dealing with as well.